Hi guys, today I want to teach you how to make coffee filter roses. As you can see here, they're absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to be telling you where you can get the pattern for them and show you how we start making these. These are a bouquet that I made in a vase that you can make for your home decor. Okay, first of all, we're going to need cone-shaped coffee filters. You can get these at your supermarket, or these are from Costco's. They came in like 500 or 400 for like $4. Very cost effective. We're going to be needing our petal shapes, which I'll be giving you the links and everything to where you can download your pattern and trace them onto what I did, a manila folder. You'll need something sturdy because you're going to want to make more than one, I'm quite sure. So we'll be needing a pair of crafting scissors for paper. We'll be needing floral tape. This is for wrapping our flowers together. We'll be needing wire snips. We'll be needing a bamboo stick, which I don't have here because I forgot it in another room. We will be needing a flat brush for later, because as you can see, our filters are actually white and these are painted. We'll be needing watercolor paints, but myself, because I figured it will be just as good, I used acrylic paints and glue stick. Here I have my floral wire, and when I come back I'll show you how we put it all together and how we cut out our patterns. Okay, so I'm back. We're going to get ready to start cutting out our filters. I highly recommend that you don't use a pencil to trace the outlines of your petals, because that's going to mark your filters and you won't be able to hide that. Now again, these are the filters we'll be using. We're using 8 of them. Now you have the side that has no ridges and the side that is got the ridges. You'll see that in the instructions when you download the template, you'll see where you put the petals according to the ridges or not. This one here, number 1, you put the petal to the corner, okay, away from the tab on the corner, and the way you cut it is you place it here, you use your crafting scissors, and you start to cut around them. It's pretty easy. Now when I get to the inner and outer petals of the rose, we'll be using 2 coffee filters. For those, we'll be making 2 sheets of those with 3 petals on each, giving you actually 6 doubled, so it's 12 per filter, and we're going to do 2 filters, so that's going to be a total 24. Okay, so this is pretty easy, as you can see. I'm going to try and cut more. Now with this, oh, I don't get rid of these. Out of these, I'm going to be making even more petals. There's no sense in discarding them. And originally when I started making these, I did the original 8 and I discarded the rest of the filter, but then I wanted to make my roses bigger, so I decided to keep the remainder of the filters. Now these flowers, depending on the color you make and how many petals you put in it, it's either the Peace Rose or the Princess Diana Rose that you can create with these. I think the Peace Rose is the yellow with the like orangey or pinky edges, and I think that the Princess Diana is the rose that is beautiful and pink. Okay, so again, this is a half a leaf. We're putting that on the folded side here, and we're gonna start cutting that out. I know this gets a little monotonous, and you really don't need for me to sit here cutting them while you watch, but I figured it's important at least to get a good idea of how this is done, because I don't like to leave you guessing on what steps I did or didn't do and how I do them, and I'm not exactly up to the edge right there, as you could see. Again, it doesn't matter, and I do mine just maybe a little different than the actual instructions when it comes to assembling them. For example, I'm not going to be using the watercolors. My sister actually went and bought the watercolors. She's the one who got me working on these, and I got the same exact results with the acrylic paints. So instead of investing so much money in the expensive watercolors, basically all you have to do is just use acrylics and just go crazy making your own variety of roses. Okay, so I'm going to continue cutting the rest of them so you don't get bored, and when I come back I will show you how to assemble everything. Before I continue, I want to show you how you'll be doing inner leaves 5 and 6, outer leaves 7 and 8. I've cut out extra pieces of petals just so that I can show you. You won't necessarily have to, but I did it just so that you could see how I actually fit the petals in here. Let's see. See that? Just want to make sure that you're in here and you get all 3 in there. You're going to be doing this to another two coffee filters, and then we'll get to assembling the flowers. Before I forget, these are the remnants from these original big pieces. As you can see, I've cut them all out. What I'll be doing is I'll be taking my templates 5, 6, 7, and 8, putting them randomly wherever they fit comfortably, and I will cut out as many more petals as I can to give my flower more volume and make it fuller. Okay, so here I have all my petals cut. These are the original 2 filters for the outer 7 and 8. These are the original inner 5 and 6, and these additional 2 double layered are from the scraps, and I managed to get 3 out of the smaller ones, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 additional. That was just from the scraps that we cut from here. You just manipulate the forms. Okay, so here we are. Everything's cut out. Everything is ready. I've bought along the screw we're going to be needing for when we shape the edges of the petals. Here I have my acrylic paints. I have a Sunny Yellow and a Peony. They're from Folk Art, but of course you buy whatever brand or from wherever, as long as they're water soluble acrylic paints, because we'll be diluting them so that we can color our flowers. Now we're supposed to be using a 16 gauge floral wire. I actually don't have a 16 gauge. I have fabric covered floral wire. I don't know the gauge exactly, but I'm going to be using this. I folded it into thirds. My strip is 6 inches, okay? You can use 12 inches, of course, for beautiful 12-inch stem flowers. But since I've folded mine into thirds just to give me a little bit of structure, I'm going to be wrapping it with the floral tape. This is floral tape. You can find it at your floral craft store. Alright, the way this works, it's when it's like it is, it's not sticky at all. You are supposed to take it, and if you see the color changes, once you pull on it, it becomes sticky. So I'm just basically going to just wrap my floral wire with it. You'll see how easy it is. I'm putting tension on it, so I'm pulling on it, and that releases the stickiness of it. So just pulling and twisting. Give me sturdier foundation because I want to make my flowers like the original that I showed you. I'm using just a shorter stem because I'm going to be sticking them in vases, short ones. Don't need the big ones. If you were going to be making a tall vase, then you would use the tall ones, the 12-inch length. But for my purposes, this is more than enough. Alright, as you come to the end, you just keep twisting it, and it comes right off. You twist it off. Okay, so we're going to start with petal number 1. Okay, now if you're going to watch the original video on how this is made, I kind of do a little different myself. This is where it's closed here. They recommend sticking the stem down the middle, wrapping it up. I just want to open it. So you see it's still hinged right there because of the actual liner was there. So I just like to wrap mine in a circle, as you can see. I'm leaving that. Now if you notice, we're leaving some of the stem in there so that when we wrap it, we'll have something for it to grab onto. I mean, you can do it like the original designer did it, but I guess I'm just taking creative liberties, doing it the way that I feel comfortable doing. So basically, this is what we've done. We've wrapped it. Now we're going to come back with our floral tape. Okay, some people would use floral tape. Other people I've seen, they actually use a nice string. And they wrap it, not having to use it. So if you don't have this, try using the string. A nice sturdy one. Okay, so here we go. I'm pulling the floral tape. I'm stretching it as much as I can. So we're getting a tight, snug fit here. And it's sticking to itself. And just turning. And when I'm done, I just turn and pull it. Okay, basically that's the technique I'll be doing with all the other leaves. So this was petal 1. Now we're going to pull up petal 2. Again, this one, it's got a hinge here, and we'll open this one up too. Like I said, I'm taking creative liberties with mine, as long as it looks the way it does at the end. Okay, and besides, mine, my coffee filters were really tight here. They weren't as loose as my other ones that I did before. So taking it apart is kind of shredding it for me. So again, as you can see, this one ripped off, but we'll manage to fix it. When you're doing these, notice that the opening is here. So you want to start your next petal with the opening to the center of the next one. So that way you don't have any gaps in between. And again, just wrapping it around. Now this sneaky one that broke off, I'll just stick it in here. Because once we open everything up, it'll all look good. I'm not going to discard it. Okay, so again, we're taking our floral tape, placing it at the bottom, pulling on it to make it turn white. Not white, lighter green, let's say. And let's see how we get this broken one in there. Okay, so now we start pulling our tape around the base, tightening it. A few turns, bringing it down and twisting off. Okay. Now we're going to go for petal number 3. Okay. Again, this is the side where the hinge would have been. Let's see how well this one opens up. They did a good job sealing these on the bottom. You might not have this issue of it tearing like that, but in the long run you've seen what I've made already, and it all works out fine. So it opens like this. Hinges here. We're opening it up. Again, this is where we left off. We're going to put the opening to the center, keeping our petals pretty flush here. I'm going to start wrapping again. See how it's starting to come out. Wrap this again. You do have to have a little patience. But it works out in the end. I think next time I'm going to see if I try doing it with the nice string, like a floss, dental floss or something sturdy where you can wrap it and tie it. Now this is petal number 4. The hinge is over here on the half leaf. Okay, see how this opens up to 5 petals? Now these are getting longer, so remember we're going to keep the tops flush and these are going to come a little bit lower. So we'll find where there's an opening here. We'll put that to the center and we'll start wrapping. I'm not saying mine is the right way, but it works for me, and I've made many. Okay, so down here I'm just pinching it just so I can get it ready to start again with my floral tape. putting it and pulling. Make sure that when you put this level, it's nice and snug against the wire so that your flower doesn't, your petals from your flower don't slip out of place. See how it's coming along? It's like a cone, but this will eventually start looking like this. Okay, so now we've done 4. Now we're going to go to our leaves. These are 5 and 6, and these are your inner leaves. Okay, so my variation on doing this is I take let me see how many did I make. 1, 2. All right. I'm going to take 3 sets of 2. So that's 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's 4. So the way that they do it is they go putting a few at a time. I don't have the patience to do it that way. So what I like to do with mine is assemble them like in a leaf form. I mean a fan. Come on. Spacing them out pretty evenly so that way when we assemble the flower everything falls in nicely. I've been meaning to do these flowers for quite a while. My thing is you really need a lot of time to dedicate to producing the video and getting it together. Alright, now that's 1. Let me see how many will I get out of here. I might just divide these between the 2. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's double. 6 here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I'll do is I'll throw one of these in here. So it makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so we're even. So again, the way I do this is I pick it up like in a fan. Oh, it's slipping. Okay. Pick it up like in a fan, keeping that shape right there. Evenly distribute the petals. Okay. That's how I do it. Then I take this. Remember, the edge, the upper edge is flush with the upper edge here. So then I just merely take and wrap my petals around. And then bring these around. Okay. And I cup them. Okay. Now at the base, again, you pinch it well. Alright. And then we wrap. Now these are the inner petals, 5 and 6. Now we start wrapping these. After you make a few, you'll get used to it. Or you can do it the traditional way that I originally learned it, and I will be giving you the link. It is mommymakesroses.com. She was featured on Martha Stewart, and I just came across it one day and was mesmerized by what you could do with this. I couldn't believe it. Now these roses, as you see, they're white filters, and even if you wanted to make white roses, it's recommended that you actually use paint if you have the watercolors or if you have the acrylics, because they are stiff, and once you use your watercolor or your acrylic paints, what happens is the texture changes and you're able to shape them. Okay, so again, I'm going to lay this right here. We're flush here at the edges. I'm wrapping my petals around and bringing the others around and interlocking them, as you see. That's just because I don't want to do it the other way. And if you ask me which is the other way, I can't even remember because I've been doing it this way. So again, we come to the base, we're stretching our floral tape, and we begin to wrap it, making sure that we're pulling tight. Oh, pull too tight. It's okay. Just grab it again, go back, and start wrapping it tight. You can see I was putting pressure on the tape because I want this really snug here, because I will be wetting all the petals, and I don't want them to slip out, especially when I start shaping them and manipulating it into the pretty petals that you saw. Okay, now down to the bottom, twist and pull. You can see how it's turning out already. Now we're going to go do the outer petals, which are 7 and 8. Again, we're going to divide these like I did before. Okay, and originally you're going to have 6 petals doubled. That's with the 2 coffee filters that it calls for, but like I said, with the remnants I got 1, 2, 3, 4, an additional 6 petals with the remainders from the scraps. Okay, so let's divide this again. So it's 3, 3, and 3. So I'll start opening this up. Again, like I told you before, spacing them evenly into a fan shape. The more petals you put, the fuller it's gonna come out. Okay, so let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's 2, 4, 5, and so that's 8. Okay, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm trying to divide it 8 and 4. Okay, maybe what I'll do is I'll do it this way. I'm just trying to eliminate a few steps myself. It all goes on anyway. Alright, so here I have, for myself, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8. So whatever, I'll split these up one way or another. Okay, so again, put it like that. Bring up the edges. Hold it and cup it around and wrap it up. Right, remember, they're flush. Pinch the bottom. Use our floral tape. This probably would go a little faster if I wasn't trying to keep my hands in front of the lens. Okay, I'm pulling the tape. Broke it again. I'm really pulling, as you could see. Probably wouldn't have that tape ripping if it was just with like a strong string. Like I said, like a dental floss. Because all of this is going to get covered up with the floral tape anyway. And yes, you can do it with the floral tape. I just ripped it again because I'm really pulling. And I'll continue to wrap till all the white paper is covered. And rip it off. Okay. It is a lot of petals. If you don't want to start making as many petals as I have because you're a beginner, you could definitely just use the original 8 filters as they said. Okay, so here we go again. Alright, let's see what happens here if I can get away with this one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, we're putting our rose in the middle. We're bringing up one side and wrapping the other side around. Okay. It's a little tedious, but after you get back in the swing of doing it, I haven't done these in a while, then you'll get used to it again. And then you'll be making plenty. I've made up to half a dozen roses in one sitting, repeating the steps 1 on all 6, and then going to 2 on all 6, and then 3 all the way to the 8th petals. And as I said, pinching and twisting tightly. We're almost there. Now these are just 6 petals. I'll fan these out a little bit more so we'll get a good coverage on the bottom. Okay, and for the last one, place it there. And bring these around. Now for, I'm just assembling these, making sure that my final look is perfect. You could see, let's see, just making sure they're nice. Now, as I said, I buy wholesale, and I use a company in New Jersey called G&G. It's a wholesaler. If you have a business or know of someone who has a business, you could probably shop online and get your floral wire, your floral tape. They have vases. They have all kinds of floral stuff that you can purchase online from them. As I'm pulling, I'm stretching it, trying to make it nice and tight since this is my last one. Now, I'm not going to be painting it the way that they painted it. I actually want to paint my petals. This is slipping off, so I'm going to start over with this. That's never happened before. Okay, let's start over again. Okay. So as I was saying, I don't paint these the way that they show you by just doing petal by petal. I kind of wanted to experiment, and I just diluted my acrylic paint basically, and I dunked my petals in there. It worked just as fine as when I first started doing it the original way as they showed you. So basically what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to be taking my flower and I'll be dunking it in my paint. Okay, here we have the final result of how we wrapped it. Okay, and I used a little frosting container with a lid. You could tell I have messes all over my station here. I'm just going to open up this folder just so I don't keep messing up my cutting board. Now, because I'm doing it this way, it's going to really be saturated, and that's perfectly fine, because when I finish, I'm going to go and I'm going to go and actually hit it with the blow dryer after I let the color drip off. Okay, this way I know everything is colored. And I'm not going to dry it 100% because I want it still to be damp, because I'm going to come with my peony acrylic paint diluted the same way, and before it's completely dry I want to infuse some color to the edges, giving it that two-toned effect. Okay, so for right now I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to go dry this a little bit with the blow dryer. When I come back, you're going to see it's going to be really nice and opened up. Okay, so I've taken the flower. It's still damp, but I hit it with a blow dryer. As you can see, I opened up the petals a little bit. And basically what I'm doing is I'm running a wash of this peony watered down acrylic paint towards the tips of the petals. It's as easy as that. It absorbs it. If they stick a little bit, it's okay. You just separate them. Just come in and do this throughout all the petals. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording for a little bit just so that I can finish doing all the petals. Like they say, there's nothing worse than watching grass grow and paint dry. So I'm going to go and finish this for a minute, and I'll finish drying it with the blow dryer, and then I'll come back and show you how I finish it off. As you can see, it comes out really nice. Okay, I'm almost done here, but I wanted to show you that some of my petals are starting to get dry, and if this happens to you, I'm just going to suggest you come back. Like these are getting dry here. I'm going to suggest you just take a little spritz of water, okay, and just give it a little bit of water, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to not have enough of the paint flowing, and you'll have like darker lines that don't blend in. So if this happens to you, just come back with a little water and spritz the ends, just so that the paint flows through it. You see they're still damp, but some of them were a little drier than I wanted, and I want it to look as natural as possible. So as you can see, I'm almost done. I think this is my last petal. And remember, when things are wet, they look lighter. They'll darken up a little bit. Now for my rose, I actually did come in and wet the tip, and I just came right in the center, right in here, a little bit, and gave it a little bit more color, and made it look a little darker, just so that it'll have a little bit more dimension. Alright, so as you can see, they're floppy, and I'm going to go dry them, and when I come back you'll see that they're going to be nice and stiff, and then we're going to start shaping them. Okay, so I'm back. The flower is dry, petals are painted, and now I'll start showing you how we start turning our petals. So basically you're going to take the petal, you're going to take your skewer. If you don't have a skewer, use anything that has that dimension to it. Anything just to take the edges, and basically you're just going to put it in between your fingers and start rolling them back. You'll see that they stay in shape, and this is the process we're going to go through with all of our petals. It's pretty easy. If you have trouble holding it, you could stick it in a container or something, a jar. If you have a styrofoam board, anything that'll hold it for you, but I've done so many of these that this is basically how I do it. Just take it and turn. doesn't turn all the way the first time, just go back and hit it again. It's pretty neat how just it holds its shape, as you can see, as we convert the coffee filter into a flower. It's pretty cool. I thoroughly enjoy doing these kind of crafts, taking things that you normally wouldn't imagine would be used for this and just completely repurposing it. Which reminds me, if you're interested in seeing more fun projects, I have a Pinterest. That's Pinterest, like the word interest with the P in the front of it. It's So Crafty One, the same as my screen name. And I have a lot of tutorials there as well, and projects, repurposing, just fun stuff for you to do. It's economical, it saves you money. A lot of t-shirt projects. Okay, so again, this is like watching paint dry or grass grow. So what I'll do is I'm going to stop recording for a little bit, and I'll come back when I'm almost done and we'll show you the finished product. Okay, so I'm almost done curling the flowers, petals, as you can see. So I just wanted to reiterate, I saw this on the television, then I saw it on the internet. It's by a lady whose webpage is mommymakesroses.com. You'll be able to find the patterns there and see how she produced hers. In the meanwhile, this is my version and my adaptation of what she has out there, especially that I didn't use the watercolor. I'm sure if you use the watercolors, if you have them, it's going to be spectacular, you know. But if you don't want to go out there and you want to practice, this is the way to do it. And as you can see, I think it's looking very nice, and you know what we started with. So for all of my Latino friends, esta rosa está hecha de filtro de café. La página para ver las instrucciones y ordenar el patrón es Mommy Makes Roses. Voy a poner la dirección de la página en el video para que puedan solicitar las instrucciones. Espero que les haya gustado y que puedan tratarla. Okay, I'm almost done here. So I'd say another successful rose. And yeah, you can do anything with long nails. It is just as easy for me to do it with it than without. And I hope that my nails haven't gotten too much in the way and you're able to recreate this beautiful rose that we just made. And you can apply this to many things. You can make a bouquet if you want. Here's some of my other roses, plus the one I just made. And let me see. There you go. Make a wedding bouquet. I'm spilling all my little diamond pieces out of my centerpiece here. Of course, a girl's gotta have diamonds, even if they're plastic for right now. So as I said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It was a little long. It's taken me a long time to get to do it. But as you can see, how these little patterns helped me create this. I didn't do the leaf pattern because I'm personally not going to use it with what I have, but this is it. Have fun, and please let me know how it turns out for you. And if you have pictures, I would love to see them. And I hope it's been helpful, and also that it's giving you alternatives into what you can or can't use for it. You could see, I mean, I know that the video calls for watercolors, but anyway, again, I hope you've enjoyed it. And if there's any brides out there, you make bouquets or anything, please let me know and show me. You could probably make these roses and use the ribbon rose bows that I have made. It's called Ribbon Rose. And like I said, you can find me on Pinterest under So Crafty 1, and that's SEW Crafty 1. Thank you for watching. Comment and send me your ideas.